Society doesn't want to talk about menopause. And when they do, they don't make it sound very pretty. So, Walgreens is helping women change the perception and take back the narrative, because nothing is sexier than being in control. Menopause is confidence. Menopause is power. Menopause is hot. Let's reframe menopause together. Watch the Menopause is Hot story at walgreens.com/hot.
When it comes to back-to-school shopping at Target, you can choose not to choose. From getting what you need to expressing who you are. With prices that make every choice feel right, why not choose all of the above? From backpacks, bedazzled kicks, and picture day perfect styles as bold as they are. For bring your own lunch days to science project partner days, snack stash days, decorate your locker days, and paint outside the line days. All at prices that will definitely make your day. For all of the above, it's back to school at Target.
Dr. Emily Morse says communication is lubrication. And if you have the willingness to talk about this thing with your partner in a really light, easy, no pressure kind of way, it can make such a difference, not just in what your lives feel like right now, but where your lives are going. So I wish you all the luck as you figure this out together. I think this is a moment as any to remind each and every one of you who are in a romantic relationship that when we encounter hardship with our partner, it's you and your partner versus the problem. It's not you and your partner with the problem in between you. It's you and your partner facing that problem together. It's how can we work together to figure out this thing so we can come out the other side of it as stronger people and as a stronger family.
Hey guys, it's Rach, just jumping in here at the start of this episode to let you know about something exciting that we have starting next week. This is our team's last official week of summer. I will be using it to continue to move into my half-constructed house. But for the rest of us, we have been busy working on the show that starts on Monday. Starting on Monday, new format for the fall is Monday through Friday episodes that are intentionally created to be something that you listen to at the start of every day. Now, certainly you can listen to the podcast at any old time at all, but just know that I am aiming at creating something that feels like the kind of morning show you would see on TV, but you get it in podcast form. So be sure to check back on Monday through Friday, whole new format. Since so many of you listen to the episodes every single day, regardless of the format, it says to me that you're looking for something to enjoy while you do something else, while you drive to work, while you are taking care of the baby, while you're on your commute, whatever it is. We hope we have something you're really gonna love, and it starts on Monday. I'll see you there. Hi guys, it's Rach. Welcome to another episode of the Rachel Hollis Podcast and Ask Rach specifically. We're starting off these episodes with a little bit of banter with producer Jack, who, you know him, you love him. He's been here for as long as I have, but you rarely hear his voice. And we realized recently that we could actually record it while we started these. I did something really fun on Sunday. We announced to Jackson where his senior trip is located. Did I tell you about this?
You told me where it was.
Yes. So for those of you who don't know, and why would you, I came up with the idea that I would take each of my kids on a senior trip when they turned 18. And my intention was to take them to a place they would probably never plan to go by themselves. So I didn't want to take them to somewhere obvious. So we told Jackson on Sunday that his trip is to Iceland.
Epic.
So we're hiking glaciers. We are putting on dry suits, like scuba suits, and swimming underwater through tectonic plates, Jack. We are swimming through tectonic plates. We're seeing the ponies. We're seeing the puffins. We're going whale watching. I will cry if I see a whale in real life. I
get ready. We're taking him to his first Michelin star restaurant in
Nice.
Reykjavik. It's just so exciting. But I wanted to reveal the location in a very clever way. And I decided that I would bake and decorate a cake that would reveal the location. And if you are wondering if I have a secret cake decorating skill, no, I do not. But I think I can figure out most things. And I've been watching a lot of cake decorating videos on YouTube, so I felt empowered. I baked this cake. Now, I would like to start with the base of the cake. So I said, Jack, what do you want? And he said, I want a carrot cake, which is his favorite. And it just so happens that I had to harvest the last of my carrots because we're moving. So I had to get all of my winter carrots out of the ground. And I know you don't go on Instagram, so I'm guessing you did not see my winter carrot harvest. I got to show you this picture, Jack. You won't even believe the carrot level. I mean, I've been proud of things in my life, but rarely have I been this proud. Can you see from way over there? Can you see that? All those carrots? And they're ombre. I got red, I got yellow, I got orange.
My God.
I was so proud of myself. I go harvest the carrots. And I mean, I'm like grading the carrot. We go from scratch, baby. Like Martha Stewart would be so proud of me. I was like, everything's from scratch, pulling it out of the garden, make this cake, cream cheese icing, get it all iced up. And then I have fondant. Do you know what fondant is?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so I'd never worked with it. I knew I was biting off more than I can chew, but I'm like, well, let's try. In my head, it was a 3-layer cake. I was going to cover it with blue fondant and then put the shapes of like the continents in green. I was going to make the globe. And then there at the top would be a white structure, and that would say Iceland, and it would be like, ta-da. It is way harder to cut shapes out of fondant than you would even believe. So I got the blue part. That goes on. It looks horrible, but like good, goodish, horrible. And then I decide, screw the whole make the world thing. I'm just trying to get Iceland. And I don't know if you guys know the shape of Iceland. There's not a spot that's like more jagged and crazy looking. So I'm like trying to cut out what essentially looks like a splatter.
Yeah.
And get it.
I don't think I could tell if it was Iceland, even if it was just a silhouette of Iceland.
Yeah. I just ended up making everything change at the last minute to get the point across. And I was a little worried that he saw, I don't know why I thought he would know, but I like sort of thought he would know. And I covered the cake, and then it was like a big reveal, and he was so shocked. And the cake looked like crap, but there was like something I think precious about the crappiness.
Oh, yeah.
I'll show you. You know, it's the thought that counts. And then the carrot cake part was delicious, but that was the big reveal that we're going to Iceland. And he's like, oh my God, I thought we were going to go to like Paris. And I'm like,
no,
that's for pedestrians, not for us. We're adventurers. Come on, buddy.
That's so sick.
Yeah, I know. I'm really excited. So that's coming in July.
Man, is he doing like I remember when I graduated high school, like a senior week, like where all the seniors go and take over a town?
Literally today, they left.
Oh.
They call it senior retreat.
Oh, okay, that's what that is.
And it's so funny because he goes to this fancy prep school, and he thought that they were like going camping, like the way he's gone to summer camp every year, like 20 people in a airless cabin, and you know, there's no electricity, whatever. And he's like, Mom, it's full on glamping. Like, it's so ridiculous. Like, these kids are ridiculous. So, yeah, we'll see. I hope he has a ton of fun. This is like the last thing that he's doing before graduation, which is so crazy.
Man.
I cannot wait. It's also a funny place for me to choose because, you know, I don't like being cold.
Yeah.
But it's the top of my bucket list forever. I've always wanted to go.
Same.
Because it just looks so cool.
Mm-hmm.
It's huge. It's beautiful. It's like all natural. We're not going to go to that lagoon thing. There's a really popular, it's called the Blue Lagoon. And it's this like hot spring mud thing that you go sit in. All the pictures look stunning. But it's one of those like fake out social media things where.
The Instagram reality.
Yeah, the Instagram versus reality where there's like actually 10,000 tourists. And then you got this like one moment where you're like zen in a pool. It's all fake. And it's super expensive. It's like, have you seen those pictures? I know you have. of like how many people were climbing Everest and there was like a queue to get to the top. We're not trying.
No.
We don't want any of that.
No way.
I actually we're going to dinner tomorrow night with a friend who just climbed a mountain in the Pyrenees. It was the first time he climbed. He went with a group. I haven't heard the whole story, but he got really bad altitude sickness on the way up. And I just have so much respect for freaking mountain climbers, man. It's so terrifying. Have you ever seen the movie Everest?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, my. It's like Kez's favorite. Nobody's surprised by that. And he was like, oh, we should watch this. My husband loves mountains and he loves mountain climbing. So he's like, we should watch this. It's such a good movie. And I'm like, this movie is terrifying and depressing. It's an old movie, so I feel okay telling you guys that everyone dies. Like, literally everyone died. There's, like, one dude, like Josh Brolin, lives. Everyone else dead. I'm like, what? Why? No, thank you.
Yeah.
Would you climb Everest?
Probably not.
Yeah.
No.
That feels... You
That's
like
past
a
my
rock...
limit.
Yeah, you like a rock climb. Would you
Yeah.
do the thing... Because they have people who you just, like, hike to base camp. Would you do that?
Yeah, I'd probably do that. And then I would love to try ice climbing and all that stuff. But
Oh my God. Did you watch The Alpinist?
Uh-huh.
Oh my God. That's
Yeah.
so sad.
For sure.
We all love a mountain or rock climbing documentary.
Oh,
So
they're the best.
yeah. Do you remember freaking Colin O'Brady? Remember
Mhm.
Colin O'Brady, like walked across Antarctica? His wife climbed Everest with him, but like on a whim. Allow me to explain. He was going on a trek. He's going to climb Everest, and he'd done it before. It was like time number 7 or whatever.
Oh,
He's
yeah.
like this adventure guy. And she went along just because they do a lot of stuff together. She went along just like moral support. She hikes up to base camp. And then when they're at base camp, she's feeling really good. And so, you get there and then you acclimatize and then you move on to the next thing. And they were like, oh, you want to like see if you can get to, camp 2 or whatever it is. And she's like, yeah, sure, I'll hike up. Which is like, you would do this. You would like accidentally climb Everest.
Yeah.
So she
That's true.
climbs up to camp 2, feels good. And then like a couple days later, you want to try? And then she just keeps doing that. And then they're like, you want to see if you can summit? And she's like, yeah. And to be fair, she's like a climber, mountains, like she's very in shape. But yeah, she literally did couch to Everest and
Shit.
lived to tell the tale. And we all just do not understand how strong our bodies are and how strong our minds are. And yeah, that's that.
Nuts.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, that's exactly how I would end up accidentally doing it.
Yeah. I ran into her at a coffee shop and I was like, how are you? She's like, oh, the craziest thing just happened. I was like, pfft. Well, I mean, my crazy thing is like, I got a new shirt. Your crazy thing is like you climbed Everest on accident. So watch out for those guys.
Step into the freedom of summer with jewelry that reflects who you are and where you're going. From sunrise to sunset, Pandora Jewelry transports you to paradise. No passport required. Think of things like ocean charms, colorful tennis bracelets. You can shop all of these new arrivals to add to your summer staples. Be unmissable and vacation ready. Feel it, live it, embrace it, be love. Shop in-store or online at pandora.net to discover new styles. You know how I'm always telling you guys that Thrive Market is so essential for a busy household? Y'all, I had no idea. Now my household is half under construction. There is no kitchen. There is one working bathroom for 6 people. We are in chaos. But I still gotta feed these kids. And it's why I love a subscription service like Thrive Market. Look, it's a healthy grocery store. You can get all of the things you need. You know that anything that's at Thrive is going to be approved and good for your family and not have garbage ingredients. But what I also love is the convenience of having something set up on a schedule so that I know just about the time that we start to run out of things, the replacements show up. I don't have to think about it. So for anyone who has a packed schedule and you're looking for clean, high quality options, this is the answer. New members receive 30% off their first order and a free gift. Go to thrivemarket.com/Rach. You want to use that code RACH so you get the goodies and start saving today. They're having a sale right now and it ends on August 31st.
We're jumping into questions now, which feels really fun. And if you have never listened to one of these episodes before, then I will tell you that an Ask Rach episode is where people call into our podcast hotline and they leave us a voicemail. So the number for that is 737-400-4626. They leave a voicemail and then producer Jack goes through and he organizes all of those questions, and I go through and pick the ones that I think would be interesting or fun or would be the most helpful to the widest amount of people. And we are going to jump right in with this question that I think a lot of us have either experienced or might be curious about as we go through our lives. So let's listen in.
Hey, Rach. My name is Sarah. I have been a longtime fan since Girl Wash Your Face. I've been to your conference. I listen to your podcast on a regular. But I was just listening to your podcast about the 5 things that you could give 2 shits about. That's not the title you had used, but that's how I read it. And the last one was like how you feel about your body and what your body looks like. And you were talking about how like you go to a gym where all the women just, get undressed and they could care less. And I just wanted to let you know that if someone walked up to me and told me I had good boobs, I would be so flattered. So I would recommend telling someone that they have nice boobs. But anyway, my question is how did you become so confident in your body? I'm in my 30s. I haven't had kids yet, but I've gained a whole bunch of weight recently and I'm really struggling. My husband is amazing and he definitely helps me with this, but how did you become comfortable with your body? Give me tips and tricks. All right. Thanks so much. Bye.
So to give a little context to what Sarah's talking about, because if you just listened to that and you didn't listen to the episode, it sounds a little bonkers. I was saying that when I go to the gym, there's all these women who have these beautiful bodies. And I was joking, like, obviously I'm not going to go up and tell them that their bodies are beautiful because that would be harassment. So that's what she's talking about, the boob thing. And to add a little more context, the episode she's referring to is episode 833, 5 things I stopped caring about and highly recommend. And one of those wasn't how my body looked. It was how other people thought about how my body looked. Because what I have learned over time is that a lot of the self-recrimination that I used to hold around my body and how it looked or was supposed to look was about me comparing myself to other people or me making up stories in my head about what other people would say. So good or bad or indifferent or ugly or whatever someone else's opinion is about any part of my body, my hair, my face, I do not care. I care about my perception of my body. And that goes in both directions because there are times where we feel like we're being judged because we don't have the right kind of body, or maybe our body doesn't work the same way other people's bodies do, or maybe we think our body is too big, or maybe we think our body is too small. Like you sort of can't win. Maybe you feel like, oh, I need to work on my health. And then you start, your nutrition plan, you start working out. And then people are commenting like, oh, you're getting too thin. And you're like, I can't win. Like literally, I can't win. When I think about my own body, what I want is for it to be strong. What I want is for my existing clothes to fit me well. I don't want to have to go out and buy all new clothes. I want like the things that I own to fit me well and to look nice on my body and to feel good in my own skin. But it's important to note that a smaller body size is not what makes you feel confident. There are plenty of people who are thinner than you are, Sarah, who have a lot of insecurities about their body. So it's not about the way our body looks that denotes how we feel about our body. It is whether or not we have self-respect for our body. It is whether or not we have neutrality over our body, meaning that we can love our body, good or bad, or like just anything that it's doing, we're like, okay, yeah, that's what's happening today. I'm sitting here right now recording this podcast for you guys in the most elaborate recording studio you can imagine. And my stomach has not stopped gurgling since I sat down. Like if I was recording an audiobook, we'd have to cancel today because it just won't stop gurgling. But Jack has assured me many times that he can't hear it. My body's doing that because I'm on my period. And my stomach's like, hey, girl, you know how all you eat is beans and greens and eggs? That's making your body look great, but your stomach's not super happy about it. That's what my body's doing today. And there would be times in my life when I was younger where I would get mad at my body or be annoyed. It's like people who get mad when their period comes. They're mad because they're bleeding. They're mad because they're cramping. They're mad. It's like, girl, your body is doing the best that it can. The way that I got to this place was a very intentional and active pursuit of self-love. I decided, it would have been about 5 years ago, that I was just so freaking sick of always beating myself up for the way that I looked. And maybe one part of me looked good, but I'd be mad because I had, stretch marks and a saggy stomach, or I'd be mad that I had arms that were flabby. There was always something to pick myself apart about. So I made a very intentional goal of speaking to myself with kindness, practicing self-love, looking in the mirror and like finding things that I thought were great, dressing in ways that made me feel really good. When I was younger, I used to try on different styles and fashions that were popular or that I would see on other women, and they just looked terrible on me. I think it's a really great thing to ask yourself when you're looking at people on Instagram, or maybe you're pinning clothes on Pinterest, or you're looking, on a department store website. Is that a cute outfit, or is she just thin? It's a really good question to ask yourself, because we are taught in this country for sure to idolize that thin, waifish model body, or to idolize bodies that we don't necessarily have, instead of learning to dress in a way that really accentuates the body we do have. I have hips, I have boobs, I paid a lot of money for them. I have, eyes that I love. I have toes that are cute, so I want to get a pedicure. Like, I want to take care of this body that I have and celebrate it and care for it when it needs to be cared for, if it doesn't feel good or what. Just like, this is the engine that makes it all possible. Like, if your body's not working, if you're not in optimum health, if you're not feeling good, like, none of your dreams, none of your goals, like, all of that stuff is going to be so stalled out by your body being out of whack. So we have to take care of this vessel before anything else. So it was an active pursuit. You reference your husband, so I'm assuming that you've heard me talk about my husband, but that was a huge, huge part of me becoming more confident in my body, is how confident he is with his body. He would never put clothes on his body if he didn't have to. He loves being naked. Like, loves. Like, probably one of the saddest things in Kez's life is that he got married to a woman with 4 kids because he could just like has to wear clothes, and how sad that is for him. But I mean, he loves those babies, but like, he loves being naked. But he was literally the first person I ever met in my life that would just like, he gets out of the shower and he's just like naked until he has to put clothes on, right? He's like doing his hair and like putting on lotion and doing his skincare and doing all that stuff, but he's just like naked, just naked as the day he was born. It still sometimes is startling to me. I'm just like, oh, penis, like it's just there, right? But he was so confident in it, and he would giggle because he could tell I was embarrassed. He would giggle and he was like, this is so funny. Like, he's English and he's always like, man, Americans, your whole thing is like, you're free and like you're loud and you're proud. He's like, you are some of the most prudish people I have ever met. You go to a beach in Europe, everybody's naked. And you come here and it's like, like, don't look at me. So his confidence really helped me to be more confident. And I know not everyone can like hang out with my naked husband, but you can hang out with other people, men or women, who have body confidence. We adopt the behaviors of the people around us. We adopt the philosophies, we see life the way they do. So if you want to be more confident, hang out with people who are more confident. Hang out with women who love their body, who embrace their body, who have curves, who like rock it out, who show up like, yeah, here I am. Like, hang out with those women and see if it doesn't change the way that you feel about yourself. But it has nothing to do with what your body actually looks like. If you lost a bunch of weight or gotten a ton of shape, but didn't actually do anything to change the mindset, you still would struggle with having confidence in your body. So it starts, as always, right inside here, and the work that you're doing in your heart and your head to learn to love yourself as you are, and then go from there.
I love Saturdays because Saturdays are when we feast. It's when we have our favorite foods, our favorite snacks, and one of our go-tos, I kid you not, is a PB&J. It's so classic. It's so delicious. The PB&J is the OG. It's the greatest of all the sandwiches. And Smucker's fruit spreads are fruity, jammy goodness. If you've got a great nut butter and a great Smucker's jam, oh my gosh, they're sweet, they're smooth. It's all the things I'm here for. I'm actually making myself really hungry. I know it's just jam and nut butter, but somehow it gets the job done every single time. Because no matter how much changes, PB&J is deliciously dependable and classic for a reason. Get Smucker's jam and make the OG PB&J. Visiting South Dakota was always one of my someday things. Like, well, someday I'm going to go see the Dakotas, and someday I'm going to walk through Badlands National Park, and someday I'm going to see Mount Rushmore in person. And then a couple summers ago, I just made someday today, and it was awesome. The kids and I had the most amazing time. We went hiking. We saw Mount Rushmore, which is like shockingly more majestic than you think it would be. We had amazing dinners. We stayed in this awesome log cabin in a national park. It was truly one of our favorite family vacations. And I loved it because it was this great blend of seeing a part of the U.S. I'd never seen before and being outside in nature. So maybe it's time you turn someday into today. See why there's so much South Dakota and so little time. Plan your escape at travelsouthdakota.com.
Oh, this is a fun one. Yes, I love a fun one.
Hey, Rachel, this is Riley. I'm calling you from Austin, Texas. Thank you so much for everything you do. I really enjoy the show. I'm listening to the episode where you're talking about the Skin Iceland eye patches, and I didn't even finish the episode. I grabbed my phone to call Ask Rach. I want to know, like, your beauty favorites. Like that, please tell us your secrets, tell us your favorites. That would be an episode or a chat that I would just really enjoy. That's all I have for you. Thanks so much. Bye.
Thank you for that question. I believe that she is referring to episode 838, which is little luxuries that cost less than $20. So it's a bunch of stuff in my life that makes me feel pampered and like I'm taking care of myself, but they're not expensive. Wow. When it comes to skincare, you asked the right person or you asked the wrong person, because we could literally do this entire episode on skincare. And I did once. I remember years ago, I geek out so hard on skincare products that I did an entire episode like, here's everything I used. And I remember that episode flopped so hard. Like literally nobody cared, but she cares and I care. So here's what's involved. We know hydration. You know that if y'all ask me a question about like, how do I get to point F, that I first am going to have to tell you A, B, C, D, and E before we get to the main point. And if we're going to talk about skincare, we have to talk about water. Drink half your body weight in ounces of water every day, minimum. Minimum. Like you have to be chugging water every single time water goes to your lips. You're chugging like a frat boy, like you're getting all the water in, because how hydrated you are is going to have a massive effect on your skin. I don't smoke, obviously. I drink very little these days. I don't really eat dairy. I have a very clean diet. I say the dairy thing because that just used to make me break out. But just be mindful that your skin is a reflection of what you are taking in. It's not just what you're putting on your face, it's also what you're taking into your body. So if you're trying to improve your skin, you have to improve your health. You have to get good sleep. You have to drink water, all the things. For my skin, I would also say I always put collagen in my protein shake every single morning. And I have for years. I take biotin and collagen. That's skin, nails, and hair. Girls, I don't know if it works, but I just keep taking it. So I assume that it's good. I use a red light LED mask. I've had that for years, and I see such a difference in my rosacea when I'm using it versus when I forget. Like if I go out of town for a week or something and I don't use it, I can see such a difference. So that is one of the things I think is for sure worth the hype. And they're so much less expensive than they used to be. When I bought that, it was like $500, and I feel like now they're way more affordable. Obviously, it's still expensive. A lot of skincare is really expensive. And when I first started washing my face and doing serums, I was using oil of Olay that I got at Target, and I just used what I could afford, but I really focus on taking good care of my skin. So LED mask, hydration. It's also disingenuous to not tell you that I use Dysport, which is, we would call it Botox, right? When you get injectables into your face. But Botox is a brand. So I use a brand called Dysport, which, and I've told you all this before, but the very first time that I got it done, the woman was like, oh, I love Dysport. Like it just lays softer on the skin. So that's all I've ever used. I use fairly minimal amounts, but I definitely use it. And I'm sure someone out there was like, wait, how can you be healthy? And you talk about being healthy, but you also use injectables. Yeah, girl, like I'm complex. I don't know. I really like how my forehead looks when it's got a little bit going on in it. And I also have my boobs done. That has nothing to do with skin, but like I make choices that make me feel better about my body. And then I try and balance it out by eating a whole bunch of greens and beans and eggs. That's what I do. Those are some basic things. And I just want to be truthful about those things because I think that they really help. When you see someone, you're like, oh my gosh, her skin is flawless. She's probably 3 weeks out of having her injectables done. No, not everyone, but most people that I know, when you are dying and you're like, oh my gosh, their skin's amazing. Their skin's amazing. Is their skin amazing, or is their medical esthetician amazing? Because yeah. Okay. That being said, my favorite brands for skin are Cora Organics. I got to try those for the first time when Miranda Kerr was on the show several years ago, and I've been obsessed with them ever since. They are my favorites. I use several products from her. I use her face wash, her face scrub, her Noni Glow oil. I use her nighttime skin serum. I think they're fabulous. Kez uses the turmeric moisturizer too. Like, just huge fans. Also, sneak peek. You know how on Sundays I do a newsletter that I send you guys and I do 4 things? If you're not, let me just tell you if you don't know this. Every Sunday, I send out a newsletter and it's called 4 things. Something you want, something you need, something to try, something to read. Well, one of my something you wants coming up this summer is Cora. And I reached out to the team again. I was like, guys, you know I love it. I'm always talking about your product. Can I get a hookup for the listeners? So that's coming in email. It's probably still like 4 or 5 weeks away. Or maybe when this goes, the timing will be right. But they're doing a 20% discount for anyone in the newsletter. I do not get paid for that. I am not benefiting from this in any way. I just said, hey, I'm going to tell them about your skincare. Will you give them a discount if they want to go buy something? So just know that that's coming up. But I love Cora. I love Josie Marin whipped argan oil. That's what I use all over my body. I love everyday oil on top of Josie's whipped argan. I love a moisture. I love Osea products. They're so dreamy. I tend to try and pick things that are organic, clean beauty, good for my body, hopefully made in a great way. I certainly use stuff that's probably not, but those are my favorites. Like I love an eye patch. I love a face mask. I love a face scrub. It's a hobby. I'd call it a hobby. I use a lot of different things. You know what I'll do is I'll try and create a post on the website that has everything. As always, on my website, in the newsletter, they're not affiliate links. I always say it over and over. I don't benefit in any way because I don't want you guys to ever think that I'm like selling you something that I don't love. But yeah, I love some skincare because I don't love to wear makeup. And in a perfect world, I would never wear makeup. The first time we recorded in the studio, I tried not really wearing makeup and I look like a dead person. So I wear makeup now, but even I have so much makeup on my face. And if you watch this video on Instagram, you're going to be like, she has nothing. So in my perfect world, I would never have to wear makeup. I would be like Gwyneth Paltrow, just like clean face. And in order to pull off that look, you have to have skin that's as flawless as it can be. So for those of you who do not care about skincare, thank you for listening to that brain dump of products. Try Cora. That's my favorite. I feel like you can find anything that you want and need. Oh, this next question is about sex. So I think we should jump right on into that for the people who almost fell asleep while I talked about my skincare routine.
Hi, Rach. Let's go with Jolene. And Dolly had nothing to worry about because I wasn't trying to steal her man. I was trying to get with her, but whatever. I am calling because I know you're going through menopause and sexual desire is not as high. My partner is also going through menopause, but we haven't had sex. Girl, it's been 3 years. And Mama is getting a little bit desperate, but I also want to be like respectful of her boundaries and like not make her feel pressured. Like that's just gross. I'm not going to do that to her. But I was wondering, maybe you have some tips on like how to initiate sex. I was raised to be a good girl. New to a lesbian relationship, which I know you probably can't talk to or about, but like newly out lesbian who like would really just like to have sex. Like sex is fun and great. So like I guess what I'm asking for is tips on initiating. Like how do you initiate sex? And also tips on like keeping it fresh and like I don't know, when you're in a menopausal state and like sex is off the table, are there things that your partner can do to like help you feel connected or loved or cherished in other ways? Because like what's really important to me too is that she knows, I don't know, sex is a way to connect and feel like loved and cherished and like share a bond. And I miss it. I would like to have it back, so I would like to get better at initiating. But also like that's not the only way people feel connected and loved and cherished, and I know that. But like I want her to feel treasured and like supported and loved. Thank you. I don't know if any other women have difficulty initiating. I'm sure that they do. And it's not just a like gay thing. I hope that you have a wonderful day. I hope that you get to do something slow and just beautiful and relaxing just for you. All right. Love you. Bye.
Oh, I love this question. And I have all kinds of answers. Of course I do. But I have to start with just like a little educational piece because I did not know this about our bodies and what we go through. And I want to make sure that we all do our part to educate each other and make sure we talk about it in the right way. Just because she said you're going through menopause. So for clarity, menopause is a single day in our life. Menopause is when you no longer get your period. But everything that happens before menopause, that society would normally say, you're going through menopause, it's actually perimenopause. Peri meaning before. So unfortunately, that time period can last 10, 15 years. It can last so long. And there are so many symptoms, honestly, none of which are great, that ebb and flow. And one of those symptoms is a decreased sex drive. Not for everybody, but for plenty of people. And not just a decreased sex drive, but it can be vaginal dryness. It can be all sorts of things that like just don't really help to create a mood, because when I said the term vaginal dryness, everybody squeezed internally. Nobody wanted to hear those words, but it is the reality. So just to give a little educational piece to the perimenopause conversation. I can't speak to how to seduce my lesbian partner, but I can speak to how to seduce my partner. And he's a dude, but like if you've ever met Kez, you know I came as close as possible to being in a lesbian relationship. It just happened to be with someone who has a penis. He could not be more conscious, more loving, more like it's like a joke in our friendship circle that like I found a lesbian relationship, but it's with a man. So I can't speak to your exact question, but obviously I can tell you what it feels like for me and things I think really help in that process. But before I get into that, I'm sure what I'm about to say is going to be, I'm sure it's controversial. I have interviewed sex therapists on the show many times, and we've talked about this. And one of the things is like, there's no such, like you should never say that something is wrong or bad, or you never want to add shame to a situation that can already feel shameful for someone, which sex so often can. And it sounds like for your partner even more so, because she's processing maybe what she was raised to believe about her sexuality versus what she feels today. But all of that to say, I don't think that it is healthy to be in a romantic relationship and have years pass without having sex with each other unless both of you are uninterested in sex. There are plenty of couples that live a very happy life where neither one of them wants that, and they're great. But if even one person wants sex and you're not having it for years, I think it is a very dangerous thing for your relationship. I don't think that that is the healthiest place your relationship can be, because your sexual relationship with your partner is how you connect, and it is intimacy. And for reference, when I talked about this in a recent episode, I talked about, the 5 things I no longer care about. And one of those things was I don't care about my perimenopause symptoms. Like sometimes I'm moody, and yes, I want sex less than I used to, but like, sorry, I'm in perimenopause and I'm trying my best, and it is what it is. Even in perimenopause, for clarity, this is way TMI, but we're still having sex once a week, like minimum. I'm not saying there's a right way and a wrong way. I wish that we were having sex every day. I wish that I wanted to have sex more because I like having sex. I just don't really want to have it right now. And I'm crossing my fingers and my toes that someday my hormones even out and then I become like a teenage boy and I want to like hump him all the time. But until then, that's what we're in. But if we had gone a year without connecting in that way, I would be very concerned. Even if my partner was a woman, I would be very concerned for the exact reasons that you said. It is how you connect. It is how you show love. It is how you have an intimacy with each other. And there are so many ways to have intimacy. But oftentimes, if someone thinks that intimacy will only lead to sex and they've shut down that part of themselves, they won't even allow the intimacy that might lead up to it. So you never stand a chance because they're not going to allow that to even lead you down the path. It's like, have you guys, let's pretend like those of you who are moms who you're really tired and you get in bed at the end of the night and you're like, don't lie. Like I cannot be the only person who's gone through this where you're like a little bit turned on, like you could have sex. You're like kind of interested in having sex with your husband, but you're exhausted. And so like, as soon as you're like, oh, maybe there's a part of you that's like, I am so freaking tired. I cannot commit, 30 more minutes to like being in this. And someone was just, I don't know if Sting's listening to this and he's like having his tantric sex for hours. He just laughed at my 30 minutes reference. But you think of like, I can't stay awake that much longer. So you just like shut down your sexual desire because you're just like, can't even go there. I think the same can be said for people who have decided they don't want to have intercourse. So they've shut down the path. They've basically like closed the gate across the path that could lead anywhere near there. And that path that can lead you closer to intercourse is often paved with like some really lovely things, some things that can feel good. It's like massage and kissing and holding each other and looking into their eyes, all of these things that feel very intimate. And if you take them away from the relationship, it makes me nervous. Like if you guys were my friends and we were having dinner and you were like, hey, we're going through this, I would be like, I really think that's something you have to explore. And I've had a lot of friends who, specifically in my world, who grew up in the church and then realized they were gay, or maybe they knew they were gay and they like hid it their whole lives, who then got to the place where they came out and everyone knew and still struggled to feel comfortable enough to have sex, because every time they wanted to have sex, they thought they were wrong or bad or sinful. And or they'd have to get drunk. They'd be with their wife, but they'd have to get drunk before they could have sex with her because they were just like so much internalized BS about how they were supposed to show up in the world. So this is not just a case of you guys haven't connected as a couple. What worries me is that this is a case of your partner really struggling with the way she feels about who she is. Who we are sexually, it's like an expression of who we are. And if you feel shame about sexually expressing yourself, there's no way that you're not feeling shame about who you are in the other areas of your life. And that's not something to be ignored. I hope that your partner is in therapy, and I hope she's talking to someone about that, because to me, that's a major warning sign. That is a major warning sign. If you were in a heterosexual relationship and you told me you hadn't had sex in 3 years, I'd be like, something's wrong. And I don't mean to say that so like cut and dry, black and white, but that is my instinct to tell you, because it's also, you don't ever want to put pressure on someone who's trying to work through this. But at the same time, it sounded like you said that you were new, like you're in a new relationship, or you're like new to being out, I think you said. In which case, like, you want to experiment and you want to have fun and you want to be able to try stuff with your partner, because you waited your whole life to be able to be yourself in bed, and now you're in bed and you can't be yourself. So like this to me is reinforcing some really awful stigma that is so unfair to your relationship and is like smothering what can be great about it. So I think this is a bigger deal than how do I initiate with my partner. And I just really want you to hear me say that. I think your partner needs to be in therapy if she's not. And if you guys aren't in couples therapy yet, it's probably something to consider. Because like I said, if one partner really wants sex and the other partner doesn't, that is going to create some kind of tension that I don't know how we get past. That being said, maybe I read all of that wrong and you're like, no, just tell me how to turn my girl on. Okay, here are some thoughts. This little piece right here is something for my girl who asked the question, Jolene. And if you are a woman in a relationship with a man, maybe you just play him this part of our conversation so that he can understand this fact. For men, sex is something that starts in their body, right? For women, sex is something that starts in their mind. If you want a woman to be turned on, you need to turn on her mind before her body can come in line with it. I heard this on probably Oprah years and years ago, like that if you want to have sex with your wife tonight, then you start seducing her mind in the morning. So you're headed out the door on the way to work and you linger in the goodbye kiss and you look into her eyes and you tell her that she's so beautiful, and maybe you like grab her butt. Like you do something to like remind her that she's like a woman's body. Like this is beautiful. You tell her she's sexy, like in a really authentic way. It doesn't have to be over the top, but like take a moment to be very intentional about not you're pretty, not you're a good mom. Like, you are sexy as hell. Like, oh my God, look at this. How do you have this body? You've had 2 kids. Like, how do you have a body? Like, this is so beautiful. Like, this is so sexy. I love touching it. Like, you feed into her mind, right? Then while you're at work, you're sending her a sexy little text. You're like, oh my gosh, I was just thinking about how you look in those jeans. Remember those jeans that you wore to the barbecue last week? Like, I am still thinking about how good your butt looked in those jeans. Like, you're seducing her mind because she's now starting to think of herself and she's thinking of your perception of her. I don't know any more powerful aphrodisiac than like seeing myself through my husband's eyes. When when he's telling me how I look or how that feels and I'm like seeing in his eyes how real that is for him, I'm like, I am a goddess. I didn't know, but I am a sexual goddess. Like, I'm just like hyping myself up because of how he's speaking to me. Most guys get this so wrong that they're like, they roll over and they're like, hey, mama, you want to have sex? Bro, literally no greater turnoff than you rolling over and being like, do you want to have sex? First of all, it's going to take her 15 minutes to even get to the place where your penis can get anywhere near her body. 15 minutes if you're lucky, right? Unless you started this morning, then you started way earlier. It's going to take her longer than it takes you. So then now you've started with, can I put my penis in your body? Or in this case, with your partner, you've started an initiation of something that like maybe she has fear around because she's already going to the end game. As opposed to just the words. Just start with the words. Start with how she looks. Start with a hug. Start with a kiss. Start with this idea of seducing her mind, not in the bedroom. If that becomes an issue for you guys, if that's like a sticking point for her, start making out on the couch. Start kissing her in the kitchen. Start someplace where it doesn't feel like as much pressure. Because those compliments, that intimacy, looking in each other's eyes, massage feels really good, like rubbing her back, scratching her back, tickling her arm, just any sort of physical touch that doesn't have an agenda will usually lead to the place where you would have liked the agenda to take you anyway. So for me, for sure, it starts in the mind. And one more thing that really does it for me, and this is just the TMI episode of all episodes, I really appreciate after we have sex, like the next day, the next morning, whatever, I really want him to like bring it up again. It's like a performance review. I want a performance review the next day. I really want him to be like, oh my gosh, last night was amazing. Like, or, when you did 3 cartwheels and then landed on my penis, that really was so stunning for me. Now I'm just trying to make Jack laugh. I've never done that in my life. But like, I like when it's like we're still in it. We're still in the intimacy of that moment. It's like you whisper in someone's ear. Because I do it with him all the time. And I realize like I do it with him all the time and I wish he would do it back. So, if I've said it once, I've said it 1,000 times. If you want something from your partner, just say it. But like, don't demand it and don't be weird. Don't be like, you never. So like, I was like, hey, I would really love it if, you know how like I bring it up later, like what happened last, I would like really love it if you did that to me. And he was like, done. I mean, tell a dude to talk to you about sex later, like you'll get your wish. But when you're able to connect with her in whatever way you're able to connect with her, make sure you sort of stay in that moment by reinforcing it the next day or later that afternoon or whatever, that you're like, oh, I love kissing your neck. Like I love that sound you make when I blah, blah, blah. Like just stay in it, because it's like about building this space for y'all to exist inside of where you can get back to that spot quicker and quicker each time. And I think that comes by building sort of a energy around the intimacy that you have. And like, imagine it as this little seed. You want to just keep pouring water on it and helping it to grow bigger and bigger and bigger. So it's something that you can experience together. But it doesn't come easy for everybody to talk about sex and to talk about intimacy. If you guys have been hanging with me on this show for years, you know I just had that conversation in such a calmer way than I would have 5 years ago. Pretty proud of myself. Feels like I'm maturing. But it comes with practice. Dr. Emily Moore says communication is lubrication. And if you have the willingness to talk about this thing with your partner in a really light, easy, no pressure kind of way, it can make such a difference, not just in what your lives feel like right now, but where your lives are going. So I wish you all the luck as you figure this out together. I think this is a moment as any to remind each and every one of you who are in a romantic relationship that when we encounter hardship with our partner, it's you and your partner versus the problem. It's not you and your partner with the problem in between you. It's you and your partner facing that problem together. It's how can we work together to figure out this thing so we can come out the other side of it as stronger people and as a stronger family. So I wish you luck as you seduce your girlfriend. Guys, thank you so much for the questions. I love getting them from you, and I hope you will keep calling into the hotline. If you got one for us, the number is 737-400-4626. We would love to hear what you're thinking, what you're wondering about, and we will do our very best to talk about it. Also, if you have something you think Jack and I should talk about during our banter sessions, we'd love to hear that too. I will be back soon with more conversation. Until then, as always, I love you. And I'm rooting for you.
The Rachel Hollis Podcast is produced by me, Rachel Hollis. It's edited by Andrew Weller and Jack Noble.
At Capella University, learning online doesn't mean learning alone. You'll get support from people who care about your success, like your enrollment specialist, who gets to know you and the goals you'd like to achieve. You'll also get a designated academic coach who's with you throughout your entire program. Plus, career coaches are available to help you navigate your professional goals. A different future is closer than you think with Capella University. Learn more at capella.edu.
Hi, I'm Angie Hicks, co-founder of Angie. When you use Angie for your home projects, you know all your jobs will be done well. Roof repair? Done well. Kitchen sink install? Done well. Deck upgrades? Done well. Electrical upgrade? Done well. Angie's been connecting homeowners with skilled pros for nearly 30 years, so we know the difference between done and done well. Hire high-quality pros at Angie.com.